am starting to think that Melanie has some insecurities. Like, she'll never find someone like sincere ever again. Those type of women kind of cling on to the man for dear life. Bryce and Trinity.
I felt like in the beginning they were trying to do a whole like Alandria Nick situation. It's not working. They're either faking it or forcing it. I don't see no spark or chemistry there whatsoever. Yeah, my friends have never opened up their pants and told me to look down. I don't know. And then I peeked over the short and then talked about it later. I've never done that. That's just me though. I don't know.
He brought it up later. How do you feel about, the question that Zach had asked Kada in the bed? America's been like up in arms about that question, talking about Casa Amor coming up, right?
Yeah.
And who you think will just crumble in Casa Amor.
I'll be honest. I don't know if any of these couples are strong enough to survive.
You don't think so? I am so curious to see how this is going to play out.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to another week of Love Up for Debate. And we are going to hit on the third week of Love Island. We're going to do a quick recap, go through all the craziness. It's getting crazier and crazier every day, but we want to keep recapping this. We are avid watchers of Love Island. So the season 8, week 3, we're going to hit this recap now. Before we do that, please hit that like and subscribe button. We really, really appreciate all love and support. I know I say that every episode, but that's just how much I appreciate the love and support. So without further ado, I'm going to have Karushi kind of walk us through what's been going on. I'm going to give my takes. She's going to give her takes, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's get it popping. And if you agree, great. If you disagree, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
We'd love to hear it.
All right.
So, things are like really picking up this past week.
Sure.
I'm having a hard time just trying to figure out like where to start.
Okay.
A lot has happened as far as like, just since the America had voted, right? And so, we had a couple of switch ups this week in couples.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like, maybe we should just start there and how those like came about, because so much has changed.
Sure.
So I'd say, do you want to discuss maybe like the Melanie, Sincere, and Soul triangle?
Definitely.
I feel like that was like probably that's probably the biggest thing that's been going on.
Right. They've kind of taken over. So let's get into that for sure.
Yeah.
So obviously, like Melanie is now with Corbin.
Yes.
Okay. And it seems like she's not really giving him a shot because she is stuck on Sincere. I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know, man. Maybe some stuff happened behind the scenes. I'm trying to figure out like her obsession with Sincere. Like he's cool. Like he got good hair. All right. Maybe it's the hair. I don't know. Maybe they have like this, like a similar culture. You know what it is. But like, I don't know.
It could be.
Like she's obsessed with Sincere. I mean, so much so that, listen, Corbin is, that's not your everyday guy. He's 6 foot something, light skin, like got the nice haircut.
Literally this is opposite, right?
And it's like, pretty good catch.
Yeah.
Most girls would kind of, they'd be good, with that switch up, but she is on Sincere, and Sincere seems to be pretty into Soul in the beginning, and it's at first, he's pretty unapologetically like, kissing her and walking around with her, making her breakfast. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you can like, I don't know. What do you think? What does Sincere have that makes Melanie like go just crazy over him?
I have been trying to figure that out myself too, because like Sincere's like a good looking guy and such, but like I just feel like he just whispers sweet nothings into your ear and honestly like doesn't really bring too much to the table.
Yeah.
I'm starting, I don't know if I should say this.
Nah, speak your mind.
I am starting to think that Melanie has some insecurities.
Okay.
And might feel like she'll never find someone like Sincere ever again. And those type of women kind of cling on to the man for dear life.
I get it, but Corbin is not a... He's not a bad
to give
switch
her a
up.
chance as well.
Yeah, Corbin ain't my favorite dude, but like, and maybe it was the whole F-boy vibe where she was like, I think Sincere came across a little more sincere, but it's funny because he's not, Sincere is, obviously, as we find out later, Sincere really ain't, and I kind of called it, but I called it in the last recap. He's playing with people's emotions and then acting dumbfounded about like he doesn't know what's going on.
And he
very
tries to pull
delusional.
off that like calm demeanor and like he cares so much for people, and it's like
nah,
coming
bro,
off as like an act.
You
like
being a regular dude, messing with two different girls, trying to keep them both on this, leash. And I came under the impression that like I was like, okay, maybe like he might really like Soul, and I can tell like Melanie was a lot of drama in the beginning, and we talked about this. Like men, once you kind of start doing the whole drama thing, men will start to shy away from that for sure.
Right.
So I'm looking at this like. Okay, he's gonna be into Soul because she seems much more chill. She doesn't seem like she's with the drama. And I didn't know how to take Soul at first. And I've grown to really like her. I grew to really like Soul. She wasn't like, again, you gotta get a little bit of time to warm up to people, but she turned out to be a very cool. She seems pretty cool.
Does.
I love her personality. She speaks her mind. Unapologetically, and she's fairly emotionally intelligent. I feel like seems like she has a bit of grasp on kind of like reality and what's going on. I've heard like there's been some behind the scenes things where she felt a little bullied and stuff. Now there were some times later on, obviously when we get into it, but that I wasn't siding with Soul. I was against her a few times, and I thought she was kind of going overboard or being I don't want to call it dramatic, but I definitely think that she stated a few things that were untrue that we'll get into, or just like she kind of overplayed what her relationship was sincere in terms of how like she almost acted like it didn't happen towards the end of the show, and I was just like, I mean, obviously we'll talk about it when they do the recoupling, but yeah, so that's kind of my take there. But Melanie is definitely not like she didn't get over, she can't get over Sincere, and I mean, she even makes these jokes where she's like, oh, I guess I gotta forgive him again, or I guess I gotta she like they end up. Obviously, they end up back together at some point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm jumping the gun there. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. But even then, she makes a joke on how she just makes this joke where it almost like alludes to her. She's willing to put up with a lot of BS, and I don't hate that for her.
That it's just like really sad to see like a woman like just not have like love for herself and have like boundaries and things like that, and she's just like willing to put up put up with that, and for what? Like just so that you could say like you have the man, like that's.
And I know she makes jokes, but it's like she's kind of serious because she ends up taking Sincere back, and so it's like and pretty easily, right? Like you didn't really have to work for much. And I get it. It's like when a girl really likes a guy, we joked about this, but it's like it's crazy how a guy will break your heart, and then he's the one that comes in and mends it, and like the girl will look at him and it's like he's the hero, and it's
my
like
savior.
He's the reason you needed saving in the first place. Yeah, so I don't know, but I'll let you kind of take it from there. That's my take on this whole thing.
Yeah, like so I really. Sincere had me fooled. I really thought he was like into Soul there for a little bit, and then he pulled Melanie for a chat and ended up they told each other that they missed each other, and then that was it. So
and he was very careful not to like get intimate with her in that moment. I realized he didn't kiss her. He did the hug. She kind of did the whole gazing in his eye thing, but he just wouldn't do it. So I was like, I don't know where this is going. But
man, I don't know. It's like so interesting, the whole like triangle thing that they had going on. But Sincere definitely like. He had me fooled there for a little bit because the way that he just like jumped to Soul, I literally thought that he completely forgot about Melanie. We saw like Melanie crying this week, could not get over him. She's sleeping outside because she didn't want to like, sleep in that room.
Yeah.
And you just see like Sincere and Soul just like so happy to be getting to know each other. But I will say like he's still like, I mean, he's doing the full experience, like he did like focus, on Soul for a little bit. And I feel like he did give her a chance, but maybe like his feelings were just like stronger for Melanie because of like the, I want to say history, but like they haven't been there long enough like to say like there's history.
Toxic people are gonna, they're gonna attract each other. So it's like, Yeah. So, and you know what? Like, and the girls were encouraging Melanie. They're like, "Yo, you got Corbin in your bed. Like, what are you doing?" You know. I will
Yeah.
say there's probably some like hesitation there because I think we've all kind of come to realize like Corbin is pretty much just like I don't know. I think that he, you know, obviously he still's got a thing for Kenzie, but I think we've concluded that
Yes.
it's not. It's probably more. Uh, it's probably more sexual based than like
Oh,
you
let's get
know.
into that.
Yeah,
Let's
for
get into
sure.
it.
Okay.
Because I agree with that. I just feel like I don't see much going on. Like, I don't think that they really have much in common.
Yeah.
But the way that they like look at each other, I mean, like you could just tell they just want to like
Listen.
eat each other up.
Yeah,
So-
listen. I mean, obviously, I think we know that they messed around in bed for sure.
Oh,
right. I
for
mean,
sure.
they're pretty detailed with that camera work. Love Island is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely obviously again, and so at this point, it just seems like Corbin found a girl who's gonna mess around with him, and that's kind of where he's stuck. And that also might have played a hand in like Melanie not really being into him because it could have just it could have been one of those things that was a turn off for her. I don't know. She didn't say anything about it, but I mean, again, there's I know she's really into Sincere, but I feel like there could be also some extra reasons, some bonus reasons why she won't like pursue much of a relationship with Corbin. We did finally end up seeing them in bed, and it did seem like he was getting pretty handsy with her. So I mean, clearly he's got some motives going on, which I think they all kind of know. But again, with the whole Kenzie thing, yeah, Kenzie's going back between Caleb and Corbin, and obviously, yeah, she like Corbin was she already kind of messed around with him. He's the first guy she did. You know what I mean? Right. I don't see her like switching over to Caleb unless Caleb seems pretty quiet, pretty chill.
Yeah,
he doesn't like he seems like a nice
going with the flow of her. Yeah. He even told her like if that's what you want to explore, like it's like he didn't want to get in the way of that, but it also did him a disservice at the end of the week.
Yeah,
because he wasn't like. I just feel like in Love Island, you just really have to like be aggressive.
Well, and I was going to touch on that. Like I feel like in Love Island, you can't come on there and not have like a strong personality. If you're the chill, soft guy, maybe you can get by a little bit on looks, maybe, but you're also like you're on there with 5 or 6 other guys who are also like handsome, attractive guys. Some may even more attractive. Like a lot of these guys and girls, probably a lot of times, whatever room they're in might be like the most attractive person in there. But now when you like, people don't understand this, but when you put them all in the same room, you're not that most attractive guy in the room thing anymore. You got to have some substance to you.
You do.
You can't just go off of looks anymore. This is you see this quite a bit, and it's like the soft, chills, sweet guy with no really personality. And I'm not saying Killer doesn't have a personality. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's outgoing once he gets to know you. But you come on this show, and if you don't make an impact immediately, and the couples are already established.
Oh, for sure. You're going to be forgotten
It's going to be really, really hard to get in. It's the guys that come on and they, you know what I mean? They have a little bit going for them. They might be funny. They might be goofy. They might be silly, but they make an impact.
Right.
And when they talk to the girl, whoever the girl they want to couple up with or pair with, like it's more than just like a surface level conversation in terms of, what kind of dogs do you have? Right. Like that's not going to get you got like 3 days on this show to take a girl from a guy she's been in that relationship for at least 1 or 2 weeks at this point, if not longer, once you kind of get later into the show.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Asking
you
what
don't
kind
have
of
much
dog
time.
you have it's not going to cut it. You got to get on there, talk to the girl, and you got to start wooing her, wowing her, get a little handsy, get a little touchy-feely with her, like do the things that are going to get the emotions involved. And these guys like Caleb, they don't really stand a chance, especially with guys against guys like Corbin. I mean, you got to come in with some heavy guns. Corbin is a force to be reckoned with.
He
okay?
is,
like,
yes. Because he has just been like really, like Corbin's been out there. He's been doing the full experience. He will ask a girl very quickly if he can kiss her.
Yep. See those things like that.
Yes.
Right. Like they might look bad on camera, and maybe even kind of work against him on the show, but he has a personality. He has this, like, he creates a persona about him where he's like, you can separate him from the rest of the guys. And on Love Island, you typically see that. That's why Sincere is going to probably last a while, because he has his own kind of personality. Bryce, Zach, all these guys have their own especially you get a little bit of you get a little bit of a benefit of being kind of the first guys on the show. But as a bombshell, you got to come in. Corbin comes in. He does the whole, like, obviously he's established, like, listen, I'm going to touch you. I want to kiss you. I'm going to feel on you. If you're in my bed, I'm going to touch you. And Corbin also has, I mean, hate him or love him, he's funny. He's got a good personality.
He does.
He's a witty, clever guy.
Yeah.
And that works. That works in any setting. Witty, clever, you got a little bit of sense of a humor, and you're 6 foot whatever and have, the freshest fade in the world. Yeah, it's always gonna work for you. He's like Black and Asian. I mean, he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's a hard person to snatch the girl from.
It is. That is very hard.
You gotta come with way more than just like, I'm country boy who's quiet and
yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
And I'll follow your lead.
Yeah.
Like, even Kenzie mentioned, like, she was like waiting for Caleb to like really be like masculine and like aggressive.
That don't work on this show. If you guys are out in the real world and you got 2 or 3 weeks or a month or 2 months to get to know each other and go on a few dates, and now you get to like, great. You got 48 hours, dog.
It's got to be fast.
Yeah. Conversations about that. That's why, like, even when, I know we're going back, but like when Bryce pulled Kada, it was boring, because it was like, again, Bryce is finally like kind of showing a little bit more of his colors, which, I'm starting to like Bryce a little bit more. But
I am too.
When he pulled Kada, it was just a boring conversation. Fam, you didn't do anything. You're asking about her, where she lived, like, those are cool conversation starters.
Yeah.
But you better start performing. You better start doing a talent show in there. I don't know what it's gonna take, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, because those type of questions definitely are not like, that isn't like form the immediate spark and connection.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, there's no like, oh, we had such a good talk. He asked me about my favorite animal. That's not how it's not gonna go down like that. No, you gotta have a little bit of fun in there, make her laugh, do something. And if you don't have the personality, that's fine. But yeah, you're gonna if you're up against somebody like Corbin, you're gonna lose, unfortunately. And he learned the hard way.
He really did. Yeah, it did not end up well for Caleb.
Yeah. So now you got Kenzie, who is back and forth. But we know she's gonna, she likes Corbin still. They're still kissing. They're still hugging. They're going off, sneaking off.
They're sneaking, secretive about it. She's telling Corbin, "Don't tell anybody," and he's not telling anybody.
Yep. Corbin. No, I mean, he playing the game. He gets it.
He's playing. The game.
Again, hate him or love him, I think he's an F-boy too. But he playing the game. I ain't mad at him for it. He came in there and gonna do what he does. I don't know if he'll end up in like a serious relationship. I just don't see that. Now, him and Kenzie could go far simply because they've kind of locked on to each other.
Right.
And they're a likable couple enough. I guess America doesn't really care for them much. Kenzie is she's not my favorite, right? She gets on my nerves sometimes. She is
definitely the least of my favorite.
But she started out rough, and I mean, now she's kind of just like, meh, she's just there. Yeah, but at this point,
she's there, annoying me with her facial expressions.
But once you, the mouth, but once you're locked into a couple, you're safe for a little bit. You are. You're not venturing around. So,
and I guess it's kind of smart to have like 2 guys as well, because then
Sincere.
like you can kind of exactly.
Same with Sincere.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Yeah. So, Kada and Zach. Let's get into them next, because I feel like this week was like a pretty, like, I don't know. They're my favorite couple in the house. Like, let me say that.
Yeah.
So I think anything that I say is probably going to be biased.
I'll be honest. Like, you like them together. I get it. Both pretty people. And they work, I guess, for now.
They each have great personalities.
They do.
Okay.
Zach is funny and Kayda's dope. I'm not the biggest like on their coupling though. I
Really?
I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't know. I'm not sold. I know they got the Hideaway.
They
and
did.
They did their thing there,
They
clearly.
did their thing, for sure.
Which is, I mean, that doesn't mean anything because it's like y'all are on there and y'all are all, y'all are all ready to bust at any moment, right? So it's like, if you're going.
I do have a question, though.
Yep.
How do you feel about, the question that Zach had asked Kada in the bed, really like the day prior before they were chosen for the Hideaway, but when he mentioned something about like, how would you feel if like a bombshell came in after we have done it? And I know like America's been like up in arms about like that question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, and he said it was an uncomfortable question before he like spit it out. So, and that's an uncomfortable question. But I also think that not a lot of people talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes, like in Love Island, like, like sexual tensions are high and such. And I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in that.
Sure.
And not realize like at the end of the day, you might not be as solid as you may think, because there is still potential of like bombshells coming in and Casa Amor happening, which is like coming up very soon, right? So realistically, you never know what's going to happen in Love Island,
right?
So it's like, I feel like the question was like pretty valid, but like, how do you feel about that? And then Zach turning around, going into the Hideaway, and then moving forward with them. Clearly, they did admit to going all the way.
Yeah. I think I'm not mad at the question. I think it's the wrong question to ask because it starts to create a doubt in her head. And you kind of are creating this doubt that maybe doesn't need to be there, because maybe in Bombshell never comes in. But now she starts to consider, something that she didn't before, or maybe she did. I don't know. But she starts to think about, oh, is he like really not into me? Right. And that puts you. So I think it's the wrong question to ask. I think there's a better way of going about that question. Like, really just kind of diving more into like, how strongly do you feel for me? And do you see yourself still exploring more people? Like, I would probably put it on her.
Okay,
right?
I like that.
I'd want to see where your head's at, right? Like, if how strong are your feelings for me as of now? And do you see? I mean, what if somebody comes in that's like more your type? Do you still want to talk to them and be open to them? And maybe I let her know that I'm okay with that, right? That way, if she says yes, like I won't feel it's reciprocated, but I'd probably gauge where she's at first. And
that's smart.
Yeah, just because you put the thought in her head before you even got an idea of where she's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and
very smart.
And she does walk around talk about she's still open, this and that, but that was after he said that. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how her emotions are after they got intimate, because you know how a girl can be, it's like, I got intimate with this guy. I'm not about to go like start a new relationship and get intimate with somebody else on the same show.
We lock in.
Yeah.
Like once we get intimate with you and we really do like you, there's really like, it would take a lot for like someone else to turn our heads.
Right. For the
guy.
And
Kada, like, she has not turned her head towards anyone.
She hasn't. I don't even know if we really know her type, to be honest. I mean, maybe she said it, but I mean, Zach is like, he's a different type of guy. Like, he's not people's type per se. Like, if somebody was like, hey, what's your type? They're not like, oh, I like Greek people with curly hair and light eyes. You know what I mean? Like, he's a handsome guy for sure, but he's a unique looking guy that you don't see all the time. So it's like, I don't know what her type is.
He's like English, British accent.
It's like, he's here for now and it's convenient, but is that her type? Is she really, really into him? I don't know. They work because I think their personalities just like work together. Yeah. But how much does he like her?
They look like they have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, for sure. But how much are there like actual relationship feelings in there? Because I can have fun with a girl and still be like, I don't know if I'd want her as my girlfriend. And that seems to be, I mean, the way he's talking almost feels like he likes her, but there's potential of like finding still somebody coming in that is more his type.
Okay.
And that's how I feel. When a guy asks some question like that, for me, it's like, because on the other hand, if if Kayda's my if she's my Kayda's my type, right? Like you're light skin, light eyes. Kayda's light skin, light eyes, right? So if she comes on the show and I lock in with her, you can't really turn my head at this point. You're my type, Unless another more beautiful light skin, light eye girl comes on there, it's really gonna be, you know what I mean? It's like, but you're my type. So if we mesh well, I'm probably locking in with you. And if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you as much. Zach don't really seem like as a guy. That's how I would be. Zach don't seem to be that way, which lets me know she may not be his type. She's a beautiful girl. You can't deny it.
I feel like Zach, all he has said is brunettes are his type. And it's like, that is like.
Brunettes.
I mean, that could be anyone.
Yeah. And he's from like, obviously, he's from a different country. They might have, he might have a different style of girl that he's into. Yeah. I don't know. But again, it's not like you can deny Kayla's beauty. So it's not like he's not going to be into her. But that may not be what he's normally with. I don't know, but I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And then now you got him and Bryce doing a bunch of weird guy things together I've never done with my friends before. And there's no judgment. You're allowed to do that stuff. Just know that, it's a little more than a bromance. I haven't done those things with my friends. I don't know. Yeah, my friends have never opened up their pants and told me to look down. I don't know. And then I peeked over the shorts and then talked about it later. I've never done that. That's just me, though. I don't know.
He brought it up later because, like, he really wanted to, like, know how like Zach his opinion. Was feeling.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So.
The bromance is really interesting. Like, at first, it was like, I love watching bromances. I think it's cute. Like, when you and your friends are together, I'm like, I love a good bromance moment.
But what if our bromance was...
Yeah,
hey,
and if you're like,
junk.
what did he say?
He said
it was like groom check or something.
Yeah, he's like
that.
Groom check, and then later on, he asked him. He was like, I don't know. He asked him like what he thought or something, and he was telling him how the size of it was impressive. And
he commented on the size.
The story, the conversation was hilarious. Stuff like that makes me laugh. I think it's lighthearted, but it's also like they've done a lot of stuff together. There was a whole stretching scene where he's stretching them, and guys get stretched by other guys. Yeah. I get it, but then guys also get stretched by other guys.
They
I don't know. So I mean, I'm just saying. There's a lot of and then when I look at both of them, like I can see it. Yeah.
I really think that they're trolling us at this point. I think that. I feel like when a reality TV show is going on, no, and that's a good point. But I feel like sometimes, like, people like to really like feed into the bromance type situations.
Sure.
If you're known for a bromance, like, it blows you up even more.
For sure.
And they probably know that.
Yeah.
I also question.
I don't know. I think you're giving them grace. I don't know. This is a little bit more than like a bromance. This is.
I'm not. They're my two favorite guys in the house.
Well, of course.
Okay, I'm biased.
Yeah, because you're a girl.
Biased. I don't know.
They're doing very
I love
girly
them.
things.
I wish they were like in our circle. Like like I feel like they would be a damn good time. But I question though, like how. I just like often wonder if they're being told like certain things that America feels or like what America's like really into.
Or what to play into. I don't put it past producers of shows like this to hone in on certain things that become like the topic of discussion in the real world. So like I'm not, I've been on, when I was engineering, like I've had Love and Hip Hop come on and do an episode.
Yeah.
And everything was scripted. I mean, they redid fights multiple times.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, like I sat there and watched Carly Red and Young Jock argue. When the camera's off, they turn the cameras off. Then they start having drinks together, and then they cut the cameras on because the producer tells them what he needs them to do next, and then they're throwing those same drinks at each other. Literally, I mean, it literally happened. So, I mean, I definitely know that there's a lot of coercing and direction in the show for sure. But I mean, yeah. So they could be playing into it.
I did see a clip as well, like on TikTok. I've been trying so hard to stay off of TikTok because, like,
they spoil
do. They spoil
us.
it when we haven't got there yet because we don't watch it like live.
Yeah.
But I did see Zach talking about their bromance.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had like a camera up And we know he's not off the show yet.
Yeah.
So they have at least like allowed him to like record and talk about like their bromance. So that's why I'm like, I just wonder if like they know America is like, you know, talking about
I'll
it.
let
and
you. I'll
like,
let you have. You seem to be. You know, I'll let you live in that delusional world if you want.
Yeah, please let me. Please let me.
It could be. They're funny.
They better
and
not
I don't
disappoint me.
Like that's not my culture, right? I don't know how that culture gets down. It's funny to me, but you know, also in my world, if we behave that way, you probably, you know, you might have a little bit more going on internally. But
I feel
I don't
like
care. It's just it's funny.
I grew up with brothers, and they did some weird stuff. Them and their friends.
Yeah.
And I do think that maybe it is like a culture thing.
Could be. Yeah.
But guys are just like, I don't know. They could be goofy as hell.
For sure. But I've grown to like Bryce. I thought after the recoupling, which I don't know what we're gonna get into next.
Well, we haven't talked about like Bryce and Trinity.
Okay,
I want to know how you're feeling about them and anything else you have.
Yeah, we keep it brief, just about as brief as like, you know, their relationship seems to be. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I felt like in the beginning they were trying to do a whole like Alandria Nick situation. It's not working because the Nick and Alandria thing happened later in the show. They had already kind of established themselves as like they were in other couples. Then they got kicked off the show and came back together. They were forced together. Yeah. This is not, you know, and I know it worked before, but that was after we like got to know Nick, really liked Nick.
Even then though, we questioned their dynamic and their relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
because it was that season definitely gave like influencer vibes. Like let's you know what I mean? Horrible. It was weird.
Yeah. But so I mean, I don't know. I think that they're either faking it or forcing it.
Yeah.
One of the two, for sure.
I could see it. I could see it.
They're either faking it or forcing it. And sometimes you do play the game of the show, you know, keep them safe for more people to come on. I don't see them just like making it to the end unless they really are that good at faking it. Right. I don't see no spark or chemistry there whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. She's a cool chick. I've seen her a couple times get upset and get into like that attitude girl mode, and I don't know if Bryce is really ready for that type of girl. I've seen it when she got mad when they got mad at the recoupling because they didn't like who the girls kicked off and who the guys kicked off, and they got into the fight. Yeah. The way Trinity behaved, it take a special type of guy to put up with that type of attitude. Not even put up
really
with.
Spicy.
I don't want to put it up to. Yeah, she's spicy. Spicy,
and she doesn't think logically. And while we saw that Bryce does, he's like he's a pretty intelligent guy, and like
the dynamic there. You're right. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
Like the dynamic there is like she seems fairly aggressive, not in a bad way. Listen, I've dated girls like her. I know girls like her. Like I can, like personally, I can handle that. But, when she gets in that mode, she seems like more of a dominant person, and I would want to know how Bryce kind of reacts to that. Bryce showed a little bit of aggression too, so and when he did, he was saying a lot of logical things, and I was actually fairly surprised at his emotional intelligence. So, yeah, but like I said, that's my whole thing for them.
Yeah, no, that is, I'm right there with you on them. I'm still trying to figure out, like, I'm not too sold, but I also don't know if, like, at this point, if anybody's going to come in for each of them, unless something happens at Casa Amor.
Yeah. Well, do you want to, we can get into that. Do you want to go over the recoupling real quick? Talk about,
like, do you want to, like, the love letters that they wrote? I feel like that was really, that was big. That was a big turning point.
Yeah, it was a big turning point.
It was.
Obviously, that's when we found out, you know, who Kenzie was going to pick, and then who Sincere was really going to pick. Yeah. Obviously, we kind of knew everybody else.
We did.
Gabe and Jen, and then you had Bryce and Trinity, of course. KC and Annayia. So now you have Kenzie and you have Sincere, who are kind of in this love triangle. I think we kind of knew Kenzie was going to go with at this point. Sincere was the one that one
was shocking. Yes.
We didn't know.
With Kenzie, of course, all the sneaking back and forth, we could just tell, like, right, she was just so drawn to Corbin. Like, I knew at the end of the of the recoupling, she was going to pick Corbin. She was going to write her love letter to him. I was really sad for Caleb, though. He really is a sweet guy, but like
he is, yeah.
But yeah, definitely, he just came in, I think, at the worst time.
Yeah.
Like she's already like really locked in with Corbin. The sexual tension is what it is. It's just like really high, and Corbin's just been giving that to her.
Yeah. And he don't have again to reiterate, like Caleb just doesn't have the strong enough personality to rival or go to war with a Corbin. It just you're not ready for that life. So
absolutely. And then we have and so Sincere and Melanie and Soul, they of course saved them for last. And I was just
that one was up in the air. I didn't know
crazy.
Who he was gonna pick. I actually thought he was really into Soul for a little bit. Obviously, he had to talk with Melanie, and then he surprised us.
Man, that shit threw
clearly
me
surprised
off.
Soul.
It really, seriously. So of course, Melanie wrote her love letter to Sincere, and Sincere wrote his to Melanie.
Yeah. And the premise was obviously like whoever you write your love letter to is who you're coupling up with. So that's how the recoupling worked. And so he could either decide to write, and they had to open their mailbox, and then he wrote his to Melanie. Soul's mailbox was empty. And so now we know that now they're back together. Soul is back single, and she's pretty pissed off about it.
Yeah. She was like really blindsided because of course Sincere has like made her feel like, that she's the one.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately he just missed Melanie and wanted that toxic situation back.
Right. Too calm. So you're too calm, right?
Oh my goodness.
Until now when this happened, and she let him have it. I mean,
she did.
She let him have it, and she wasn't wrong.
Love that.
And she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong in this one. She was right on the money where she told him, and so much so Sincere couldn't handle it. I mean, Sincere went off into La La Land on like his rebuttal, became very defensive, and it was funny, and because it was irrelevant to the conversation, right? And it was not true, right? So she goes off on him saying, listen, if you were still feeling her, I wouldn't have minded, but just tell me that so I'm not blindsided. Listen, I get the blindsided thing. I hate being blindsided. That's the same thing I tell my employees. Listen, don't blindside me, okay? Just tell me straight up. And I'd rather just know, you know what I mean? Because I hate just walking through life and thinking it's one thing and it's something else.
Yes.
And of course, Sincere is not going to just straight up tell her, which it could have. I don't think so. Would have tripped as much. I don't know why.
All she wanted is honesty. Yeah. And all he's done is, what did she say? You've been blowing smoke up my ass.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
That's all he's been doing.
And then he tried to rebuttal. At first he was like super apologetic, but she was kind of letting him have it. And then he goes into this whole defensive mode where he was, and it just showed just a bit of an immaturity where he said, well, I'm not the only, you're acting like I'm the only monster here. And so I was like, I haven't done anything. And she hasn't.
Oh my God. That sent me to a whole nother dimension.
Yeah, like, them type of guys right there.
He literally tried to flip it on
them
her.
Them type of people just in general. Yeah, those are the worst.
She hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
No, like we're talking about you here, buddy.
And she hasn't done anything. Even if she did, cool, we could talk about that, but we're talking about you right here in this moment. You should have told me that you still had something for Melanie, at least just common courtesy, because you're whispering sweet nothings in my ear, calling me beloved, kissing on me, all that stuff, which is fine, but you're playing with my emotions if you're not going to tell me like, hey, there is a chance that I go back with Melanie. You blindsided her, which you've been doing the whole time. And then you hit her back with she's not innocent either, and like she hasn't done anything. Those type of people are the worst. But listen, you did what you did. You got to take the heat. It don't matter, and you don't have to like her reaction to what you did. I'm sorry you didn't get off easy like you have been with Melanie, but Soul ain't that, right? Soul's gonna let you have it. My thing with that is, he should have, he sometimes you just got to take the heat.
Yeah.
That comes with your decision making. And sometimes you just got to eat. You got to sit there and take being talked bad to, cussed out, told about yourself because you were in the wrong. And you were completely in the wrong. There was no part of this where Soul did anything wrong, right? The only thing she did wrong was put all her eggs in one basket, and that's because she was led that way to do, you know what I mean? Because she thought that you were going to go with her. And so, so that became that. And, Yeah. I mean, so we have that. And then obviously, Kenzie back with Corbin because she wrote him the letter. And then we have the elimination at the end where the guy's got to pick the girl and the girl's got to pick the guy to leave. Ooh. And that was obviously this one always gets the people going because they never agree. But I'll let you kind of go over what happened.
Yeah. So we had, let's see, the three girls. So we had Kenzie and Jen and Soul. Mm-hmm. Yep. And the girls or the guys had to pick two girls to save, and one of the girls would be dumped from the villa. Mm-hmm. And then for the guys, we had Gabriel, Caleb, Corbin. And Corbin. Mm-hmm. Yes. And the girls had to obviously choose two guys to save, and then one would be dumped.
Yep.
That was very interesting. I feel like the guys, they were definitely just thinking more logical in terms of like who's coupled up, who has connections.
Yeah, who has connections right this moment.
At this moment.
And who has tried and failed.
Yes.
Which is the logical, personally, I think is the logical way to go about this.
So I was actually saying that as well. Like we had Soul, of course, and Sincere were no more, but that was the only person that she was like really connecting with, and the only person who like really gave her a chance.
Yeah.
However, while they were discussing like which girls to save, KC expressed yet again, he's expressed it before, that if they kept Soul on, he would like to explore her, that he would explore her. So, and we can get into that after just how we feel about the whole KC and Annayia thing after this. But, and then you have Jen, who's like been hitting it off with Gabriel. I don't know if I'm fully sold on them at all.
I'm not sold, but at least they have a connection.
Yes, exactly. And it just would make sense to allow them to like continue to explore that.
And also, which was said later, Gabe was pulled away from his Bea connection. He wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
So Gabe is doing, regardless of what you think about Gabe, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and it's not his fault that his girl got eliminated. But he then immediately found another connection.
Right.
So he's obviously getting connections, whereas Caleb found his connection and lost.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the only one he's had.
Yep.
Because that's the first person he pursued. I think she was free. And so for me, Caleb, as unfortunate as it is, you're the only one here without any sort of solid connection, and you've had time to play the game. And so it's, for me, that would have been the choice, but they chose Gabriel.
They sure did, which is so crazy because it's like, I don't know what the girls were thinking with that. That was insane. I think that they felt for Caleb, and they let their emotions like pick for them.
Sure.
When it really was like, and obvious, you have Jen and Gabriel, and then you have Corbin and Kenzie.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, the two recent bombshells who no longer have connections, and they don't have anyone else really interested besides like KC. Then out of nowhere, finally, wanting to explore Soul when it is just like way too late. The bombshells are the obvious choice.
Yeah, and you say you don't understand. I'm not mad at the choice. I get it. It shouldn't have been the choice, at least in my, in my opinion. But I get it. Like they were saying how Gabe just looks like he's just waiting for the next bombshell to come in. So but honestly, a lot of them are. You know what I mean? The logic,
absolutely.
The logic is there, but it also can be said for about 10 other contestants on this thing.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Those who think that they're in solid connections, like your man and your woman are also like you're there to play the game as well.
Yeah. So Corbin's also waiting for the next bombshell to come in. There's a couple other ones in relationships probably waiting for the next bombshell to come in. So then you got your decision based on that logic would apply to everything. Corbin's you know, I mean, I don't even know if Corbin likes Kenzie. It's just the one that's giving him sort of some play right now, right? Yes. So it seems like the guys made a logical decision. Souls had the chance to play the game, and she lost, just like Caleb did. And so those two probably should have been the ones maybe to pick. And I like Soul. I like Soul a lot. I like her more than Jen, but Jen found a connection, and hers worked out. I don't know what to tell you, you know. So
yeah. So Soul and Gabriel were, of course, dumped from the villa. Let's talk about, of course, like the guys were very upset with the girls on their decision.
Yeah.
And the girls were talking about how Gabriel is promiscuous. I loved the clap back that Bryce and Zach even gave, right? So do you want to get into that? Because I just feel like I love when men stand up to women.
Yeah.
When it comes to
when it's true, when it's right. Yeah. When it comes to the kind of some double standards going on. I liked his response because when they talked about Gabe, them thinking Gabe was promiscuous, which is crazy. I don't even think he's done the most on the show up till now. So I don't know. But even if that was their sentiment, where they thought Gabe was being promiscuous and that, you know, he was just waiting for the next bombshell, that doesn't mean you eliminate him. So Bryce was kind of standing up for Gabe, saying, you know, that doesn't say anything about his character. That doesn't say anything about him as a human. And it's the worst form of slut shaming that he's seen, which is funny. I mean, and it's true. It's so very true, right? Basically shaming him for quote unquote being promiscuous, and then saying that's the reason he should have got eliminated. I thought it was a really insightful take on the situation, because there are girls on here that are absolutely promiscuous. For sure. And not to say that's good or bad. Everybody isn't, you know, do what you do with your own body, but don't shame, you know, Gabe just because he's doing what a lot of the girls on there are also doing.
Kenzie, for example.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Kenzie, who's delusional, saying she's not lustful. Ma'am, we all know you're lustful. We all can see it. You're absolutely lustful.
That was
the whole thing with Corbin is nothing but lust.
She is delusional.
I
love that Corbin did bring that up to her though, because like I feel like Kenzie also needed to hear it. Like you were part of, like, the women are just always like bashing the men for the choices that they make, but at the same time, like, you're making those same very choices.
Yeah, for
Kenzie.
Sure. Yeah,
and it's fine. Like, you're playing the game. Like, you're having a damn good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the same time, you know, like she's definitely coming off lustful. I think when she gets out of Love Island and she watches herself back, hopefully she sees.
Yeah, and listen, like hater like Gabe, you know, sometimes cultures are different. And he's obviously from a different culture, and maybe maybe every girl that's come on there he's been, you know, handsy with, or he's been, you know, try to advance or whatever. That may be true. You know, I don't know, but again, multiple people have been in that same position, have also done the same thing, and you know, if a girl didn't want to do anything with him, then you just say, I don't want to do anything with you, right? Like, I don't know what to say about that, but I think it was a solid rebuttal from Bryce, and Zach had some good insightful responses to that as well, and I liked to see that. I liked to see you know, all the girls, and then they hugged it out at the end. So
they did, yep. So I think even Zach was like, we'll forget about this tomorrow.
But like, we're gonna discuss it today. We're gonna forget about it tomorrow, but like, it doesn't need to be talked about today.
He was so annoyed. He didn't even want to make them breakfast.
Yeah.
He didn't think they were deserving of any food.
Yeah. No, that was hilarious.
That was so good.
It was a good take. It was a good take, and it just kind of shows you the difference between the decision making on there. And we've seen that a lot before. This one didn't seem to be a friend thing, but a lot of times when you see these, like, the couples have to, or the groups have to vote somebody else off, the girls tend to, a lot of times it's like, oh, that's my friend. Or if the girls wants to go after a guy who's in a couple, they'll remove that guy's girl off of there. Like, if she's up for grabs, like they'll just kick her off the show. We've seen this done. I remember it happened to Rob. It happened to Rob back in the day.
It did.
I'll never forget that. But it's just, you see that quite a bit, and the guys typically choose based, you know, like, logically you're not advancing. Logically, you know, you're not you're not in a couple at the moment. So I don't know. They definitely had some good points.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing would be maybe KC and Annayia. We got to touch on that quick. And then
I wanted to touch on that because I know KC's like your favorite guy.
I like KC, man. I like KC. I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like I know like we've questioned their relationship a little bit, like if they even really truly have like a connection, and I really think that this past week has kind of shown us where they stand.
Yeah.
Like they really thought they were a solid couple, but Casey's kind of like, he's kind of questioning like, you know, their like how solid they are, and he's a little open to exploring now. And we already know Aniya's not going to be up for that. But I just think
I don't think somebody that's his type has come on the show yet. Or if they have, they're in a couple. Because remember, in the beginning, like they ended up together based on a fluke. Nobody picked him. Nobody picked her. So they ended up together. And I'm sure they get along. But maybe the show doesn't show everything. Maybe that's just what they're doing. But like I haven't seen any sort of chemistry with them either. They seem to get along. Like they make jokes and it just reminds me of kind of Trinity and Bryce. You know, they get along, but it's like, but is there chemistry there? Do you guys like each other in a romantic way? He's already expressed like, she doesn't really do anything physically, which she shouldn't. It's a good thing. That's a good attribute about her, for sure. But you guys been in a couple for however long, and and you're on a show full of people who are all around you getting it in, and so
we don't even see them make out.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, take away any sort of.
It doesn't have to be like super physical stuff, but just
like,
the
I don't
usual.
Even see y'all
like,
kiss.
have we seen them cuddle together?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't know, but yeah. So my thing is like, he's feeling it. He's a guy. He's feeling it, and if she is, if that's not, I don't know, because like sometimes it's not about I'm just in the mood and I want you. Sometimes the physicality of a relationship lets me know you're into me. Like physicality in a relationship isn't always just like, I want to, get off and it's all like sexual. A lot of times it's like, it also represents you wanting somebody, you being into somebody, you liking them even more, that you actually like. And I'm not saying she has to do anything. I'm fine with her not doing anything.
Right.
But I can't speak for him. He clearly is like, man, like we're not kissing, we're not, and if that's something that maybe he's wrong for feeling that way, but it's like, if there's that sometimes introduces the chemistry into the relationship, and if there's not even that, then I don't know what we're doing, because Love Island is Love Island. We're not dating. We didn't meet each other on Hinge and then we have 2 or 3 months to get to know each other. We got all of a couple weeks to really get into it. Love Island's just not for that. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, it's not for the, it's fine if you don't want to do anything. I would like that type of girl. Like, I would probably choose that type of girl, right? But at the same time, you're on Love Island. You're surrounded by a bunch of people who are, doing it. I can't speak for KC, but I think he's feeling it. And plus, on top of, if he doesn't even really like her that much, then he's gonna drift off. It's gonna take the right girl to come in and get his attention. And I think it'll happen soon. That's my prediction, because the bombshells that they've brought on may not have been for him. But as time goes on, you'll notice they'll bring on bombshells who seem to specifically be for somebody. Somebody.
I love how they do that.
I think that will happen for her.
I don't know if it's intentional. It probably is.
And I think maybe it'll happen for Trinity. Just a few of them that I feel like their type hasn't come on, and those bombshells will be. They'll be sending them on there.
Yeah,
they'll be sending them on there. So
this is how I wanted to end the show, was talking about Casa Amor coming up, right?
Yeah.
And who you think will just crumble in Casa Amor.
Well, if these are the couples that are still here when Casa comes, I'll be honest, I don't know if any of these couples are strong enough to survive.
You don't
Casa
think
Amor.
so?
I mean, Sincere could easily venture off. He's already done it once.
Yeah.
Corbin we already know Corbin's mindset. Bryce and Trinity aren't convincing me. KC and Annayia aren't convincing me. Not Gabe. Who's left?
My favorite couple.
Zach.
Yes,
Zach's already expressed. What if a bombshell comes on? I don't know. I don't know if any of them survive it. I don't think Casa Amor takes a little bit of while to happen because they make sure the couples are like really, really into each other.
Yeah.
But we'll see. If these are the couples or anybody left from this is still there by the time Casa Amor comes around, yeah, I don't. None of these couples could survive.
They literally started talking about it at the end of the week.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so
none
that's
of
why
these couples will survive
I'm pretty sure like the preview said that like Casa Amor was
they're not ready for that. They're not ready.
None
of them are strong enough to survive that.
I am so curious to see how this is going to play out.
None of them possibly. Like, you would have to not bring anybody on that Sincere liked. Possibly he would go back to Melanie. But he's the only one I could see.
Yeah.
If you just didn't bring anybody on that he was into,
right,
I could see him, like, not forcing it.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it for sure. So, but I'm rooting for Zach and Kayda. They're my favorite couple in the house. And
we'll see.
I love them.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm not with you on this one. I like them both individually. I'm not convinced in their like relationship
together.
Yeah, they're cute. And like I said, I think they have personalities that match and mesh well. So I think they do get along. I'm not convinced that they're just like really into each other and all over each other. I think it's convenient for the moment. And I don't think this one lasts.
You don't think so?
I could be wrong.
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see at the end.
Yeah.
See who's right.
Is that
what we're here for?
We cover everything?
Yeah. All right. I think that was it.
That is week 3 of Love Island season 8. Let us know your predictions, your opinions, what you think about, what's going to happen and your opinions on the Islanders that are still left.
Yes. I want to know if you're Team Karushi with Kada and Zach or if you're with this guy.
Team Breeze, who's not convinced by them nor anyone else on the show. Yeah. I'm not convinced. You
are not.
Nope. I've been watching Love Island for a long time, and I've seen the couples in the beginning where I'm like, yeah, I could see them lasting, but this one, I'm just waiting.
That is so true, because like the very last season, Amaya winning, even that like shook me.
Yeah, that was
because I was
random.
just like, wait, like she literally just got here.
Which didn't last a week after the show ended.
No, it didn't.
Anyways.
Yep. So we'll see.
That's all we got for today. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking us out. And till the next time, till next week on Love Island, our next episode will be a new crazy story. All right, so stay tuned for that. We will see you guys on the next one.
Love you guys.